By now you're probably getting the idea that visualization is a very, very complex topic. There's a lot of different options. Let's take a look at a big one, and that's details. Should your visualizations include more or less detail? Let's start by talking about more detail. Now, this idea really comes out of brain science. As our imaging techniques for the brain have improved, one of the surprising things that's been discovered is that if someone is actually performing a task, or just imagining performing a task, similar areas in the brain light up. So the theory goes, in the popular, non-scientific realm, because this hasn't been tested quite as heavily, even in the sports psychology field yet. These brain scanning techniques are very, very new. But the idea is that the more detail you include, perhaps the more your brain believes in the reality of those visualizations, the more accurately the areas of your brain light up, and the more you're able to impress that upon either your subconscious mind or whatever mechanism it is that you believe might actually be responsible for increasing the success of power of thought, of synchronicity. So that's a very fundamental idea in law of attraction. You also see it in spiritual rituals, like Huna's Ha Rite. Huna is a Polynesian system of spirituality, and their Ha Rite is their manifestation ritual. I have a very interesting story for you surrounding the Ha Rite. Many, many years ago, in the early 90s, I had a friend who was an expert in Huna. He would actually teach classes in it, and when he taught the Ha Rite, the most amazing things would happen. He would always have the most incredible stories coming out of his students experimenting with the Ha Rite. Well, he owned a chain of muffler stores, and he'd grown up with some money, and he just kind of felt like the time was right for him to move up to a nicer car, and so he visualized a new Mercedes. Now, being a practitioner of Huna and the Ha Rite, and the Ha Rite being extremely detail-oriented, he prepared a very, very elaborate visualization. He included things like the color of the car, where it was situated in his driveway, what time of day it was, just, an unimaginable amount of detail about the car and the surroundings of the car. And he basically saw himself coming home in the car, being sitting there in the driveway. Well, not long after he did this ritual, he came home and there was that exact car parked in that exact spot on that exact kind of day, right exactly as he had visualized it. He just really couldn't believe it. Unfortunately, really within just a few minutes, he realized that despite all of the effort that he'd put into his detail, he'd forgotten one very important piece of the puzzle. He'd never seen himself as the owner of the car. And so he wound up going into the house, and it turned out that a friend of his was up visiting from the south, and he'd just bought the car, and he'd driven it up there, and that's why it still had the temporary tag on it, just like my friend had visualized the temporary tag being on the car. So a very, very, very good example of just what's involved if you try to go to the heavily detailed version of visualization. You really, really have to think things through very comprehensively. Here's a guy who taught other people how to do it, and even he missed this major component for this goal of his. Well, before we go on to the next graphic, what I'd like you to do is close your eyes. So just right now, you can leave the video running, but go ahead and close your eyes. I want to provide you with just a little detail on how you can improve your visualization if you want to use sort of this detailed type of method. So right now, with your eyes closed, I want you to start to consider all of the things that you normally tune out, because you want to work them into your visualizations. in order to have them be very, very thorough. So, what does your skin and body feel like right now? These are things that we're not normally thinking about, things that we're not normally aware of. We often, when we close our eyes, hear the sounds around us, so certainly hear the sounds around you, but also, what does your skin feel like? What does your body feel like? If you're sitting down, is there a difference in the way your body feels between the area of it that's sitting, that you're actually sitting on, and other areas of your body that you're not sitting on? Are there temperature differences between areas that are and aren't covered by clothes? Let's switch to something else. Do you have a taste in your mouth? Usually we have a taste in our mouth, but we're ignoring it. What do you smell? So you can really pay attention to each one of your senses, and you can do it in a lot of different ways. And these are the types of things that you need to build up and you need to incorporate into your visualization to make it as complete as possible. If you want to do really intensely detailed visualizations, it's these types of exercises that can really help you with that. So you can go ahead and open your eyes.